Hello everyone, in this episode of our image converter series, we'll look at how to generate the image thumbnails and also the details of the images. The previous episode we got to this point where we can add images and then we are able to display just the image names and still keep track of the images. Also able to remove selected or even all images. But we'll look at how to display a thumbnail of this image if we click on it at this point, and also some details of the image down here. So let us get right into it. You can call it anything, but this one will take in the particular image also. And then here is quite simple. All we have to do is to call the thumbnail label, so self.thumbnail label dot set pix map. So we want to set the pix map to whatever image that will be passed in. So that will be Qt GUI dot. I think you don't have Qt GUI imported, so let's quickly import it. Qt GUI dot qpixmap, and then we pass in the particular image. So now image. And that's all. So, but for best practices, let us always, as always, wrap this thing around the try except block. And then what we do up here in our connections is we don't write the connection straight away like this ones. Like we now have to pass in a particular image. So as and when we click on any particular image, the thumbnail function has to be run again. So we connected this with self dots, and then this one we are looking at when an item is clicked in the list widget. So self dot list widget dot item clicked. When an item is clicked, we want to connect it to the thumbnail function. So dot connect. And then in here, we want to connect self dot create thumbnail. But because we want to pass in a particular variable, we have to now say lambda. And then what we want to pass in at every moment is the lambda rather should rather come first. It's not inside this place. This place we pass the image. And then here is self dot images. We want to now index into self dot images, the images list up here. But at what particular index? The particular index is the index at which the item has been clicked on the list widget, which we can also access by saying self.listWidget dot current row. So this will give us the particular image that we are looking for. If we go ahead and then run it, it should run without any errors. Now when I click on this, you see that it has changed. This one too has changed. So this part is done. Let us focus now on where the details come in. It will be a function that will be called directly when this place, after this thumbnail changes, so we call it here before we go and then create it. Self dot image details. That is what I'll call mine. And then down here we can create that particular function. Here we need first the index, which will be equal to self.listWidget.currentRow. And then we also need the image itself. So the particular image will now be equal to self.images and at that particular index. So this will give us the image, that is the full part of the image, because that's the place we can access it from. And then the file size will now be equal to os.path.getSize, and then we can pass in the image. That will give us the file size. So that one has been dealt with. And then this file size can come in many sizes. It can be bytes, it can be kilobytes, it can be megabytes. So we want to now look at it, because I think the default is bytes, and if it is in megabytes, you don't want to display all those plenty numbers. So we can try and then work around that one and see. So let's now say we want to convert file size to kilobyte or megabyte. And here you can see that if the file size is less than 1024, yeah, that means it is in bytes. So that one size will be equal to, the size is just the variable we are creating for the image size. Size will be equal to file size itself, but this time around in bytes. So byte. But in case it is greater than it's not in bytes, but in something greater, we want to check that one too. Well, if file size is also less than 1024 by 1024, we want to then that means that the file size is in kilobytes. We want to also now say that the size will be equal to, and then this time around it is the file size divided by 1024. We can make it into 12. We can put the restriction there, and then this one will be kilobytes. And then if it is also greater than the kilobyte, which is in megabytes, you will not do for the gigabyte. But if it is greater than that, then the size now should be equal to an string of the file size, as always, divided by 1024 by 1024, and this one too you can say in 12, but in this case it is megabytes. So this will also give us the file size and apply the conversions between the file sizes, that is kilobytes and those ones. And so after we get the file size, we want to also get the image dimensions. That is the x and y, the width and height of the image. In that case, you can say img equal to image. We need a pillow library here. So quickly, if you don't have it installed, you can come to the Python interpreter down here, and then you go to interpreter settings. That is if you are using PyCharm, and then here you can just hit plus and then pillow. This library is what you are looking for to install, or if you also using another IDE, equally you can open your terminal and then in there you just type pip install pillow. That one too will work. This one too will work, but we need a pillow library to continue with this part. But if you don't have it, you have to install it. It doesn't really take long. So img go to image dot open, and then we want to now open the image that we took from the image list up here. So image, and then after we open the image, we can do x comma y equal to image dot size. This one will give us the size of the image. So now we have all that we want to insert. The rest we can create them when we are inserting. So we have to now clear self dot image details test edit dot clear. We want to clear it first, and then now self dot image details test edit dot insert plain text. Don't really need this extra spacing, and then we'll insert an string. Here the first one will be the name, which will be os dot path dot base name of the image, and then on the next line we can put location also, which will be os dot path dot their name of image, and then on the next line we can put the size also, which will now be equal to size, the size we computed up there. The width, which is also equal to x pixels, and then the height of the image. I think I didn't spell height correctly. Yep. Which will also be equal to y. And I want to strip it all of all white spaces. And that's what we need to do. For best practices, let us wrap all of these in a try except block. So let's go ahead and then try this one out. I think we have an error down there. Why is it still saying that no model called pill? All right, let me fix this particular issue and then come back quickly. I have switched the interpreters again and installed Pillow, so let's hope that it works this time around. And it did. It's running, but I don't know why. We have an error. The string object has no attribute size. Oh, this one is supposed to be img, not the image. After we get the image, you have to get from this one. Let's try it out. And there's another error. The tuple object is not callable, which will most probably be from this place. I think there's no opening and closing brackets. Yeah. Okay, so it is working fine. Now we have our thumbnail previewing nicely and also our details changing. But I still think this decimal places are too much. Not too much. This one's supposed to be in here. Oh, this one too should be wrapped. Yes. I think this whole too. This one will affect the whole bracket, not just this small portion. Okay, still, I can also use the round method to round it and all that. But that'll be all for this video. I thank you for your time. First one or two backs, but I think that was all great. I'll see you another time with another video. Bye for now.